young people today don't lack passion at all. They just don't understand the level of sacrifice it takes to make their passion a reality. I mean, it's just because you love something and you want to do it, you cannot discount the amount of work and effort it takes day in, day out to make that dream a reality, to actually create your dream.
The dream is absolutely free. The hustle is sold separately.
That hunger to be more, to do more, to give more.
You've got to go put in the work.
Success takes time.
What do I want to do every day for the rest of my life? Do that.
Brought to you by Mati Energy, it's The Healthy Hustle, a show where we interview today's movers and shakers, influencers, and entrepreneurs. Get an inside look into their stories and how they hustled to get to where they are today.
Hustle is waking up one day, the day before you die, and realizing you gave it your all, emotionally and executionally, in theory and strategy and in execution.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Healthy Hustle podcast. Woo! Today, we are talking to Johnny Pavlik, the founder of Johnny's Pizza, one of probably the most notorious pizza chains I've ever seen in my life. A local influencer.
Locally, yes.
Locally,
I'll give it to you locally. Locally,
yes.
No, yeah, I'll do that.
An incredible social media personality and a guy who's just killing the game across the board from his business itself, an investor, restaurant owner. Super excited for today. How are you doing, Johnny?
Fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you so much for coming in. We are in Durham, North Carolina at the WeWork. And Johnny, one of the cool things about this podcast is we always get that inside look at the younger version of people. Kind of that phase where a lot of these college students are right now, trying to figure out the next few years and like, what am I going to get into? People are asking what they want to be when they grow up. Mm-hmm. And I'm really curious for you because you got into the pizza game pretty early. Is that right?
I did. I was in the game very early at 14.
At 14. So when through like 14 through high school, even getting into college, was pizza always the thing that you thought was going to be kind of your mainstay?
I didn't know it was going to be my life.
Yeah.
I've really made pizza my life, but I knew I loved it, and I was kind of like, I even had visions where like, okay, I'll end up in corporate America in some kind of, finance position or some kind of, business-related position, but I'll deliver pizzas at night. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew that no matter what I did, somehow pizza was going to stay in the game, just because I loved it so much.
And why'd you get into it so young? Was that a family
I got into it young because I'd go to the mall, play video games, and eat pizza. So I found my childhood pizzeria, and I just started going there and, helping them out, and they'd give me free food, and so I was kind of accepted into a pizzeria at a young age where they didn't treat me like I was a kid.
Okay. And all through high school, you're still working at that same pizzeria, delivering, starting to learn how to make it. Like, how did that
It was the standard progression, You start with folding boxes, sweeping floors, cleaning dishes, and then, next thing you know, you're delivering maybe, or you're starting to handle money or say, hey, can I help you? Maybe putting some food in the oven and taking it out, maybe making a sandwich. Yeah. And, and it just, you literally steal your spot to make a pizza. Like, the pizza man literally steps out for 5 minutes.
And then you're in there.
And then it's like a ticket comes in and you're like, ooh. I'm going to go make it.
Opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. You wanted to make it, you wanted to prove yourself, and it was very hard. Guys weren't just going to let you prove themselves. Yeah. Prove yourself.
It's an interesting kind of culture dynamic within the workplace, within a pizzeria, even hustling to get your shot, if you will.
Absolutely.
And being willing to kind of do that grunt work at the front end.
Absolutely.
To be able to get that opportunity.
And I still do that grunt work.
Yeah, well, I
still do that.
That's an awesome tidbit to share. Yeah, it never goes away, right?
No,
I mean, as a business owner, that door has to open. It needs to be clean. I think that's a really interesting part of having a physical business. Yep. Something that we talked to Pete Phipps about, the founder of Arrow Cuts. Yep. And he's like, if you're gonna do a physical location, that door has to open. You have to be ready to receive people, even if someone calls out or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah. And when it comes to your staff, being able to do those early jobs. I always say a general who gets in the trenches with his troops is always the best general.
That's awesome.
Never too proud. I sit in the back and I'm in the office. You guys do my bidding. Yeah. No, I have great staff because they know I will do their job too. Yeah. And I'll show them how to do their job. Yeah. Because nobody can show them better than me. Now that doesn't mean I'm going to be there sweeping floors all day. But it means if somebody's new and I happen to be there and I see them kind of struggling, I'm going to step in. I'm going to be like, no, this is how you do it. And they're like, wow. Like, I've had people like, thanks for showing me how to sweep, Johnny. It's not a big deal. It took me a few minutes, but not only does it help my business, it shows them that their job is just as important to me as the people that they see me interacting with, like management and kitchen staff every day.
Yeah, well, it's a great real-life interpretation of lead by example, right? It sounds like you're doing that really well. So, did you go to college?
Yes.
You did? Okay.
I went to the Ohio State University.
The Ohio State University.
Yes, had to.
That's awesome. I'm a Georgia fan, so...
SEC, you know.
Yeah. So, with your time in college... What were you studying? Were you thinking about business and pizza together, or was it still like corporate might be the path there? I know you said...
Yes, I was in business school.
Yeah.
So I was in business school, and I actually, when I got accepted to Ohio State, I actually found a job at a pizzeria before I registered for classes. So I moved up there. I was like, I got a one-bedroom apartment. I didn't want to like stay with anybody, and I found a pizzeria.
That's awesome.
Like that day.
Yeah.
I pretty much walked in.
Because you knew it was something that you wanted to do. It was like...
Yeah, I had my polo shirt on, you know, like I'm feeling good. I'm going to pizzerias. I walk in and this owner's like, hey man, what's going on? What can I get you? I was like, I'm actually looking for a job. Yeah. He's like, can you make pizza? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, when do you want to come by? I was like, I can show you now. He's like, you're wearing a... I was like, no big deal. Yeah. I rolled my sleeves up. I made a pizza. He's like, cool, you start tomorrow.
That's awesome. Wow.
And that was at the Flying Pizza, which is like, that's on High Street, which is, you know, the Hillsborough Street or the Franklin Street of Ohio State, the main drive. Wow. Yeah. So I was at like the pizza spot on the main street that everybody knew. Wow. So, and I was, you know, I pretty much stepped into a position where I was working, you know, late nights on the weekend, which was awesome. I met people. For sure. Saw people coming from the bars and clubs and, you know, got to know them that way, and it was awesome.
So run us through kind of the inspiration to get your own pizzeria. You have all this experience you've been building. Sounds like you really honed your craft, essentially. Yep. And then that inspiration had to come to say, you know, I think I could do this on my own.
Yeah, well, I needed a job.
Yeah. So it was post-graduation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yep. How did it feel walking across graduation stage? Did you know what was coming next, or were you...
Well, the thing is that when you graduate from college and you want to be an entrepreneur or start your own business, there is that struggle of seeing your friends that you graduated with. They're getting jobs.
100%.
You know, so they're, you know, putting on a suit and, you know, this interview, that interview. Oh, you know, I got hired at this company, that company. What are you doing? Well, I'm working at the pizzeria, the same one that I was working at when I was 14. Oh, you know, because it's not like you just graduate college. It's like, here's the spot. You gotta work. So there's a lot of you have to swallow your pride, because you're looking to get into a business, but you can't just open a pizzeria. There's finances involved. It's like another college payment.
For sure.
So I mean, to ask your parents, hey, I just graduated from college, and like I told you before I went to college, I may want to open a pizzeria one day, and you guys were like, well, still go to college, still get that experience. Just realize that, you know, it might be a good idea for you to possibly use your degree and get a job and then figure out, you know, what you want to do.
So there's some pressure from your parents to say, go to
100%,
school. And,
100%. Because what parent says, I can't wait for my kid to be in the pizza business? It's not the most glamorous lifestyle. Yeah. Now, being an entrepreneur is what I was meant to do, but getting in the business is a very, very sticky road, because it involves finances, it involves risk, it involves talking with a landlord and trying to get him to believe that you're somehow valuable. Because up until now, what do you say? I've been working at pizzerias my whole life.
Yeah, exactly.
I know guys right now that have lost business after business after business, and they ask me, hey, should I open this pizzeria? And I'm like, maybe go work for 2 years. And they're like, well, I delivered pizza in college. And they're like, but I want to open a pizzeria. Yeah, I mean, and they end up losing everything, but it didn't matter, because to the landlord, they were still taking an equal risk on that person who delivered pizza in college and me, who had been in the business 10 years. It was an equal risk, because there was no track record, there was no proof, there was no leases, there was no finance.
Which is so interesting. So how did you prove yourself to get that first?
They took a risk.
Okay.
They took a risk, and I got in a pretty good lease for a really good price, and it worked out really well.
So you went back home after graduation, worked at your kind of childhood pizzeria, if you will. Then did you open a shop there? Where were you in that first? I opened a
shop in Apex. My first shop was in Apex. And this was just prior to Apex really blowing up, and it was kind of in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. This was in 2003. So,
wow, okay. And you had to make that pitch to say, hey, I'm the guy.
Yeah, I mean, there was, luckily, the owner of the pizzeria that sold to me had a good relationship with the landlord, and I think he kind of vouched for me a little bit. Like, hey, this guy's young, but he's hungry, he's motivated. It's obvious he kind of knows what he's doing. Mm-hmm. So, I had references from other pizzeria owners and stuff like that. So
what I love about the story so far to this point is that, like, you did all of this grunt work, like you said, getting that experience just to build your craft. And I think a lot of people today don't really have that backstory to get them to where they want to be. Like, that's 10 years of patience and hard work to finally have that person vouch for you, get that space, like you said, when you're going up against people that might have more restaurant experience.
Absolutely.
So it's incredible to see how much work you put in to just get the first job, right?
And this is why I love working with and mentoring young people. Mm-hmm. I have a quote for this exact situation. It was passion. It was passion and persistence, which you got to have both. Mm-hmm. And a quote of mine that I put on my Instagram a lot is, young people today get a bad rap. Mm-hmm. And, they say, well, young people, I've heard things, they don't want to work, or they don't know what they want to do with their life, or they want a quick buck. I've heard all this. Yeah. And a lot of it boils down to passion. Mm-hmm. And I say that young people today don't lack passion at all. They just don't understand the level of sacrifice it takes to make their passion a reality.
Interesting.
I mean, it's just because you love something and you want to do it, you cannot discount the amount of work and effort it takes day in, day out to make that dream a reality, to actually create your dream. Mm-hmm. I only wanted one pizzeria. I thought that was it. Oh. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was it for me. Yeah. If I could just get a pizzeria,
Wow.
And
because that was like the childhood dream almost.
Yeah, it's like, why do I need more? Yeah. I didn't understand how important, growing your brand was to, get more financial freedom and, actually be able to work less. I've grown my business, but I actually work less than I did when I had one restaurant. Yeah. Because you can't pull enough money to really make a good living out of one restaurant unless you're working it 7 days a week.
I see.
You need to have multiple streams of income to be able to pay people well enough to put them in a position to run things when you aren't there. I see. And that was one of the things I learned, over really the past 15 years.
Yeah.
Because I kind of got stuck in one.
Okay.
I got stuck in one pizzeria from 2004 to 2013. I had one. And then in 14 I opened one, in 16 I opened one, in 18 I opened one.
That's incredible. Yeah.
And we actually are signing a lease for a fourth location right now. So
that's can you share the location?
Yeah, Fuquay Arena.
Really?
So we're opening in
Congratulations.
Yeah, man. We're excited.
So So you've opened 3 concepts to this point?
Yes.
Three different stores. You were in that first one for about 10
years. Well, I've opened 4.
4.
The first one I sold to get a new start.
Okay.
I stole to get a new start. I had met my girlfriend, who's now my wife, and we really just wanted something new. Yeah. Kind of my growth and the way we envisioned our brand. Mm-hmm. Just we questioned everything we were doing except for the service and food. Okay. So, and there were some things just with presentation of the food and stuff like that, but we really wanted to, instead of just knocking down the walls and creating a whole new concept, we really were like, maybe we should just sell, take a little break. So I actually got out of the restaurant business and for about 6 months.
Step back.
Yeah.
Deep
and
breath.
then we opened up a new one.
What was the name of the first?
Johnny's Pizza.
Okay, so the name's maintained.
Yeah.
So that fresh start's really interesting. It's almost like taking the second jump, if you will, or like reevaluating where you're at. When you were getting ready to do that relaunch, what were some of the pieces that you were putting in place to make sure that you were building something, long-term?
It was a lot had to do with just decor, presentation of food, the way the menu looked, the way the menu was priced, different options. Our menu expanded ridiculously. So during that time, I wasn't working.
Yeah.
No income. My wife was carrying us. My wife was carrying us during that period, and she doesn't work now. So now she just
flipped the script.
So now she's at home with the kids and all that. But I was working, basically putting together new ideas. I was testing food. Yeah. All sorts of different.
Where was that happening? Was that in the kitchen?
That was in test kitchens at distributors. I was going to different states. I was consulting with different pizza guys I know all over the country, figuring out the best way to rebrand myself as Johnny's Pizza without doing any damage to what I had already created.
Okay, and then you had to find a new spot. That's another pitch to get your foot in the door somewhere.
Absolutely, but I did have some credibility at that point.
From having that.
So they were kind of like, ooh. So this was different. This was the first time I landed like, ooh, you own Johnny's Pizza. So you sold the one over there, and now you're looking for a new space. Well, beautiful. We'd love to talk.
Okay.
You know,
the
so
dynamic flips a little bit.
Exactly, because I mean, and you get it out of them. You know, they don't share too much, but we've had a lot of people come here to open a pizzeria, and we talk with them, but they've never opened one before.
Yeah.
So I kind of at that point, I'm like, well, you should give them a shot, but I wanted it. So,
so
there's only one space.
Yeah, you know, I studied entrepreneurship at NC State. I've talked to a few people about physical businesses, and restaurants seem to kind of get a bad rep in some ways. I want to start a restaurant. They're like, well, that's a 3-month or 6-month concept. You're going to go up, you're going to go down. What let you get through that first 10 years of your first concept? Was there something you thought like really clicked to help you get through that? How do you think people can kind of break through that first 3 or 6 months that people kind of come at you with?
I think I just busted my ass.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's really what it came down to, man. Hard work, push through. Hard work and volume will hide a lot of sins. I always say that volume will always cover up them. I was making so many mistakes. I was doing my books wrong. I was doing my taxes wrong. I mean, you name it. But I was doing enough business that I was able to push through all the mistakes I made because we were still busy. So I was bleeding money. I would spend money on marketing that didn't work. I spent $5,000 on a Yellow Page ad that I didn't really see any business from. I mean, you learn all these things along the way, and you make a ton of mistakes. But what you don't do is focus on those mistakes to the point where they take away your drive and make you kind of crumple up and not want to push forward.
That's insane.
The customer, taking care of the customer was my number one priority, still is.
Because you hit on service earlier as like a big part of what you stay true to. What were you doing that set you apart in those first 10 years with customers?
I just think that keeping your lights on later, open signs off, people can still knock on the door and come in.
Yeah.
Taking deliveries further than you should. People say, I know I'm out of your range, and it's, well, I'll take it.
We'll do it. Yeah.
Something was wrong, you fix it.
That's the hustle right there.
I've never once in my life told a customer there was something else happening with their situation, if it's a negative one, other than the 100% truth. Yeah. I've never questioned what they say. I take it as fact, and we work off that.
Wow. Yeah,
I've had employees come up to me, and they're like, yeah, they said this and that. And I'm like, well, it's right. Don't ever come to me and tell me that they're playing some kind of game or they're trying to get free food. Don't ever say that to me.
Wow.
If you ever say something negative about the customer after they have a complaint, you're fired.
Wow. Okay.
And when you look an employee that you've kind of been joking around with and they've been doing a good job, and then they do something like that, and you look them in the eye and talk like that, they get.
I'm sure.
It clears up the situation.
Yeah, and what a way to kind of like set up the culture for Johnny's Pizza and like
absolutely
supporting customers.
We take care of the customers.
Yeah.
If you're not ready to put the customer in front of yourself, do not come and clock into my restaurant.
Wow.
When you hit that clock, you are now second, third, fourth. You are not first anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of people walk into a restaurant and they're number one walking in.
No.
Because they get out of their car, they're feeling good about their life, whatever it is, wherever their head is at, that's fine. And I'm glad they feel that way, or whatever they're going through, that's kind of their life. When you clock in, you are no longer number one.
That's where the focus is.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's great.
And there are people who want to come in and they want to be number ones. Bunch of number ones can't work together.
That's a good point.
But if ones, twos, threes, fours, fives, sixes, sevens work together, then...
Because at the end of the day, like, you're building a team that has to support this business, support the customer. Yeah. I really want to kind of come back to what you were learning in those first few years. Did you have any like fun mistakes? I know you hit on the Yellow Page. That was a mistake you pointed to. What else did you kind of learn the hard way? Kind of maybe a fun learning.
I think, there were times I was just really unhappy. I thought that being an entrepreneur would kind of be the fix for my life. Like I would be there and I'd be doing my own thing and it would just be nothing but great days. And I mean, you learn, especially through your 20s, and I tell young people this, you're not going to achieve your dreams in your 20s. Even if you achieved your dream in the 20s, there's another dream. There's always more dreams. So never sell yourself short and say, this is where I need to get, and once I get there, this will happen. A lot of young people do that. I'm going to start a company, and I'm going to get a Lambo. Great. So you're going to be sitting there with your Lambo and your company, and guess what? You're going to be happy for the rest of your life. Wrong.
No. Yeah.
Will not happen.
It's the first quarter.
Yes,
right? Like,
exactly.
We're just getting going.
The thing is that why is that the focus? The focus should be enjoying the ride.
Yeah. But happiness,
Yeah, it's not attainable. It's not this place.
Yeah.
You have to be happy with your life.
Yeah.
And your life needs to be a balance of all the things that life is.
I love that.
It can't be all work. It can't be all play. It can't be all trips. A lot of people, including myself, I look forward to big events coming up. And so it's okay, so I'm looking forward to going to Vegas for the Pizza Expo because I meet a lot of my friends there. And we have a good time. What about between now and Vegas? That's in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I have a newborn baby.
Wow.
Why am I thinking about
that?
That will come. And guess what? I'll get on that plane and I'll go have a good time.
Yeah.
But what's going on between even a 2-week period? Why are you so looking forward to spring break? You could be focusing on crushing these tests right now, which are going to be, you know what I'm saying?
They have a more long-term impact.
It's like you're waiting for these things to
Don't just
come.
look for the highlights.
Exactly,
enjoy the process. Enjoy everything in between.
Gary Vee says that all the time.
Oh, he does.
It's the process.
Yeah.
It's the process.
I hear a little bit of him coming through, which I appreciate.
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
a big fan.
Yes. I mean, you have to love the journey. And I've loved the journey of my life, the ups and the downs.
Well, and it's so cool because you've stuck true to this passion that started with you very young.
Yep.
I think finding that passion can be hard for some people, but for you to be able to channel it, put in the grunt work to really get to where you are today is incredible. I think that's an awesome storyline there. And what I really want to start diving into is kind of growing the new Johnny's Pizza.
Yes.
Open up the new concept. You've put in all that upfront work to kind of really hone in what you want to do. And today you sit on a big social media following. You're engaging with your followers and creating some awesome content. But in 2013, you were just launching that business.
Absolutely. I mean, it was Johnny's phase 2. It was Johnny's phase 2. Phase 1 was a live for the day, daily grind, really a learning process.
Yeah.
It was like, here's a restaurant, make all your mistakes, figure out what works, and then start over.
It almost sounds like the testing ground.
It was.
So then you got this nailed in. You open up the next concept. How were the first 6 months of phase 2?
Unbelievable.
Really?
It was a rocket ship.
Wow.
It literally blasted off. Not only was there a demand for my brand, because I had built a brand.
Yeah.
And it was close enough.
Were you on social media during the first 10 years?
I was on I started on social media pretty much in 2006.
Okay.
And I mean, I'm talking about ugly banner ads. I mean, I was doing everything you could do, but doing it wrong.
Yeah.
By today's standards, it was very wrong. What I was doing in 2006 is what a lot of people are doing now.
Okay.
So when I look at what they're doing now, I'm like, man, I was doing that in 2006. Yeah. I'm not even going to judge. I could be doing nothing right now.
Yeah.
And I would say what you're doing is wrong just because I know that I did that more than 10 years ago. So it has to be wrong.
Yeah.
Because if I was doing it 10 years ago, it was wrong.
You're just posting deals and
It was repetitive.
Yeah.
It was copy paste. It was like, I just got to get this post up.
Yeah.
The post wasn't about the content. It was about the advertisement.
Yeah.
So it wasn't about giving any value other than a deal.
Selfish approach.
To the end, it was to the end user. Yeah. So they were getting a deal, but there was no personality to it. It was very cookie cutter.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, cookie cutter content is cookie cutter content, and I scroll past cookie cutter content now.
Yeah.
Now the reason it worked for me then is because nobody else was posting cookie cutter content.
Yeah.
So I was the only person.
You were at least doing something.
Yes.
And
I was the only
active
person posting cookie cutter content. Just like now, I'm the only person posting
and the
good content in the pizza game.
The landscape.
So now the cookie cutter is now the basic.
Yeah.
Where it was nothing. And now I've kind of moved into the next level of the way social media should be worked, and I'm still learning. And we're figuring out new stuff every day.
And it's constantly changing too. I mean, algorithms and then just the way the platforms are structured. Like Instagram stories came in and blew everything out of the water. So
absolutely,
you got to stay up to date with the platforms.
Yes.
And so social media was kind of a thing. open up the new concept, launching a new brand and then personal brand with that as well. Was social media kind of a core piece of phase 2 for you? Did you know you needed it?
I had some other marketing techniques that were already in place that people don't talk about a lot anymore that I still think are huge. Email marketing and SMS text database. Okay. So I had a text database and I had an email database. Okay. That was a very good way for me to pre-announce the opening of my new restaurant. Awesome. Because I was still hitting people's inbox and I was still hitting their phones, even without social media and a huge following at that time. Yeah. Those were still more powerful for me to launch the new brand in 2013 than my social media was. Yeah.
I think it's I'm glad you actually said email, because even for us in our e-commerce business at Mati, having that email database is so important as a way to kind of maintain that drumbeat of like activity, keep people up to date with what's going on in your business. And I think for people tuning in who are trying to kind of get started, having that email database is a great group of people to turn back to when you have exciting updates. And the launch of phase 2 is a perfect example of how you were able to blow that out of the water because you did that from
I had 5,000 people in my email database at that point, and I had maybe 500 followers on social media. So in actuality, let's just pretend that 100% of my following saw a post. That's 500 people. I told 5,000. Yeah. You know, and those 5,000 people were actually opening my emails because I typically posted deals in them. Yeah. So they opened it up and they're like, Johnny's isn't in existence anymore. What is this? Oh, we're opening. Boom.
Let's go. Yeah. So that's so cool. Man, so you were really harnessing some pretty cool digital strategy in a place and in like a tradition, because we hit on this before the podcast, a traditional industry that's kind of hard-headed.
Absolutely.
Why did you know that? Like, what made you be there?
I knew it.
Did someone tell you?
Phones, man. Phones.
Yeah?
I still know people.
Was it a realization you had, or did someone say, like, Johnny, get on this stuff?
Somebody showed it to me, and they were like, look, you're going to be able to get people into a database, which I knew what a database was because I had been on Constant Contact. I had been, I understand. I was already doing online ordering at that point. I knew that was big just because the chains were doing it. So, I followed a lot of what I saw the Domino's, Papa John's is doing. Okay. And they were like, well, here's a way. And I kind of kept up with what they were doing, the big guys. And they weren't doing text marketing. Not really. Yeah. And I was like, why aren't they doing it? I was like, this might be just too advanced or too regional. Okay. So they were like, you'll be able to get people in this database. They will opt in and you will be able to text blast them. I go, so they will literally get a text alert. And it's me. And I was like, I have to get in this. Okay. I sent a text out today. I still love that because it's like, bang, it's 100% distributed. It's not like, only 10% of your following sees it. Or no. This is, it's 100% success. And so I do some of now that I keep offers. You can't make that sociable. You got 144 characters. I can't tell you a cool story. Yes, you're limited, but what you do is you drive people to your social. Okay, yeah. So you use other mediums to drive people to social. I use direct mail in very limited amounts of driving people to social. Okay. So that's
always pushing the digital because you want.
Yes. Getting people to switch platforms. Switching from Twitter to Facebook, Facebook to Instagram, Instagram back to Facebook.
Build that cycle of people coming around.
Absolutely.
And this is great. I think we can really start getting into some of how you were able to make this brand successful online. And it sounds like, to me, you've always had this great foundation of customer service, good pizza, good product, which is a kind of a key element of it. But then you've been able to get really creative on top of that with what you've done online. And I want to hit on like when you really started growing, I guess, your personal brand as much as it is your pizza brand on Instagram specifically is where you really have. I haven't seen you on some of the other platforms as well.
Very big. Yeah. Again, numbers are less important to me than overall conversion. Yeah. I can't stress it enough. The DM will never be controlled by the algorithm. Yeah. A DM is a message between a real person and you. I don't care if you're on a acquisition of a customer on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook has the same value to me. People may put more stock in Instagram right now because Instagram's hot, but I get conversions on LinkedIn. A conversion is a conversion.
Yep.
And just because you're stronger on one platform does not mean that it converts better.
That's a great point. Yeah.
I mean,
where's your most engaged audience?
Absolutely.
At?
I've had days where Twitter blew any other platform out of the water.
Yeah.
Where I got 50 DMs in one day just by saying, "Hey, have you ever eaten at Johnny's?" If you tried that on Instagram, it wouldn't work.
And that's what so social media is such a hot topic for every business today. Everyone wants to try to figure out the best way to harness it for their business. What were you doing to get you to where you are today? Because everyone, I think if you ask most social media managers today, if they could get 50 DMs a day from, qualified almost customers, everyone says yes to that. But it took you a while to get there.
Absolutely.
So kind of lay us through, what were you doing at the beginning? What kind of steps were you taking to get there?
Just being on the platform, creating better content, and saying, this is a digital representation of who I am and who my business is.
Yeah.
Now, nobody wants to get to know just a business. Now, like a tire store. What if you just posted pictures of tires all day? Who would?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Now, what if the most charismatic, coolest, funniest tire shop owner was posting pictures of tires all day? People could start consuming that content because, he's funny. He makes jokes. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Or he's real.
Personality, right?
Exactly. That's what social media is all about, is bringing that sociability and who people are to the forefront so that the people who like who they see or can relate to it or want to be like that or can remember when they knew somebody like that, whatever part you touch of your audience, those people become evangelists for your brand if you have something to deliver. Yeah. And it's the jab, 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 right hook mentality, which is you don't have to always be saying buy. Matter of fact, I never say buy. I never use the word buy. Hey, come buy.
Yeah, on purpose. Yeah,
you don't need to. I just show you who I am, and you start to follow me. You're going to start associating Pizza in the Triangle or Best Pizza in the Triangle with Johnny's Pizza. You might only eat pizza once a year. Well, if you only eat pizza once a year, I would love to have you that once a year, and I will make that a great experience.
That's an incredible mindset too.
And that's why I would have a full-on conversation with somebody, even if they said, I don't even eat pizza anymore, but I love your content. I'll still conversate with that person. Yeah. Because that person is still an evangelist for my brand. They might not eat pizza, but they're friends.
They have conversations. It comes back to the tried and true word of mouth. If I make a recommendation to one of my friends, word of mouth marketing. It's
and social media is word of mouth.
Yeah.
So why people who say, how are you growing your business? Word of mouth. I go, but you're not on social media? And they're like, oh, no, I don't need that. Well, social media is word of mouth today, so you're not.
It's very easy to share, recommend through. Every platform has that share to my audience feature. That's so strong.
Somebody who says they're using word of mouth that isn't on social media hard
need to reevaluate.
Isn't using word of mouth. So basically, you're confused about what word of mouth actually is.
That's a great point. Honestly, I totally agree with that. And with people that are trying to kind of get into the social media game, I think it can kind of be daunting at first because you do see people that are doing really well. If an outsider looking in, I open my first pizzeria, I look at John's, I'm like, holy moly, how am I ever going to get to that point? What kind of tidbits do you have for someone who's trying to just break in?
Just day in, day out. Day in, day out.
Do you set up your day around?
The pyramids were not built overnight.
Amen.
I never thought. I remember when I was like, can I get to 10,000 followers?
Yeah.
That was like, oh my gosh, I'll be able to do swipe up and, all these new features will unlock and I'll double my engagement, because you get to double your engagement. Yeah. That was more important. People were like, you're going to get to swipe up. I was like, well, I actually get to like, comment, and DM twice as many people without getting banned by Instagram. That was more important.
Yeah.
People were like, well, yeah, that's cool too. And I'm like, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
2x everything I'm doing right now.
Exactly. So now I can interact with people on Instagram more. Way more important than saying, hey, swipe up to check this out. Swipe up's a great feature and I use it, but it's not what getting to 10K is about. And what's funny is that's what everybody thinks it's about because it's cool to be able to do swipe up. Yeah.
Kind of like where's the focus, but where's the actual value at? And like
the value is in the engagement.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what's at the end of the day, that's what drives conversion, right? So
I've met friends, I've met people I never would have met on social media that are now customers of mine, and I consider friends, and that never would have happened without social media. Never.
It's a great tool that's connected us, but I think some people kind of harness it in the wrong way or have the wrong approach
or abuse it.
Yeah, well, that's a great point too. And your approach to creating content, I think you kind of hit on adding value. For a business owner, I mean, I think you have a great approach to how you produce content. Can you walk us through that creation process for someone who's breaking in as well? The tools that you use to create your content, is it just your phone? Do you have a team behind you that's helping?
Yes, I work with a team. They're fantastic, and I would definitely follow me at Johnny's Pizza NC and reach out. A lot of the stuff that I do is kind of it's a boutique firm I work with, and they're not just out there saying, "Hey, come check us out." It's very if somebody's interested in getting marketing services through either myself, consulting through myself, whether it's in the pizza business or in any brand, we like to almost vet that person and just kind of we like to at least see where they're at so that we can propose a proper strategy
for sure
based on where they're at. Because
very different for
that way it takes away from the guesswork, because there's a hours and hours and hours process of really assessing somebody's online presence before you can properly present what they need to do. So there's no reason to go meet people or give them a pitch and be able to even give them any reasonable quote, even on a price, or whether it's just tips for free. You need to know what they're doing right, wrong, and I've had people tell me things I'm doing right and wrong that are doing better. They're doing far better on social than I am. And now I'm helping people that are getting started, and it's no different than when I was 14 years old and now I'm sweeping the floors. So I just have a bigger broom. That's it. I'm still sweeping the floors. I mean, that's just how it is, and that's how I look at it. So I'm still learning, and but again, there are people who want all the help in the world, yet they're not even running their business right. And I ran into that with a client that I was helping with their marketing, and obviously great food, great location, terrible service and execution, and just an unwillingness to execute on the strategies we were presenting for them on social media.
Interesting.
So we were converting people to the restaurant. The restaurant knew that these people had never eaten there before, and yet they weren't putting the cherry on top of the sundae and just kind
make
of
that experience something
they
special.
Weren't doing that.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they were like, "We're getting all these customers, and they're kind of annoying. They're pulling out their phone and showing us this and showing us that." And I'm like, "Did you want to grow or not?" Well, his restaurant's closed.
Ah, interesting.
So this was kind of, for some people,
it's a mindset for growth.
We misassessed their business. Because we went and tried the food during slow hours. So there was really no hustle and bustle. There was no. We weren't able to really. I wasn't able to really assess the staff because our food came quick, and I mean the server was attentive enough. Although even in a dead restaurant, we were left for like 30 minutes sometimes, and I'm just like, what is going on here?
Interesting.
So I had those questions, but I was like, they know that we're potentially working with them, and so they're leaving us alone.
I see.
Well, in fact, that was happening to regular customers on a Friday night, where their server would just disappear.
I see.
And they're done with their food. They want to order dessert now. They don't even know if they want to. And
they're gonna
we're
leave.
sending business to a business like that.
Interesting.
And then guess what? The negative reviews start flowing in. I start getting phone calls and texts. People being like, "Johnny, you kind of represented this place." And that's when I was like, whoa, this is serious. Like, I need to be careful about who I brand, because if I'm throwing a shout out to somebody on social media or tagging them and being like, "Hey, check this place out," I better know the ins and out of their business.
For sure.
Because now I'm like a quasi restaurant critic.
When you put your name out there like
exactly.
that.
It's like, hey, when restaurant critics rate a restaurant, people go by that.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So if I'm saying, hey, go to, this place, and it's basically a shithole, so to speak, that's not good. It's not good for me, and it's not good for that business.
I think something really interesting I'm pulling out of that is that the social media engagement experience isn't just on social media. That experience extends into the physical part of that business, or the physical interaction with a product like Mati, the sitting down at a restaurant booth. Those things are you have to have that foundation. Otherwise, everything you're doing to drive traffic, to make you look good, kind of just comes back, like you said, to this crappy ending. And that's and no one likes the end of a bad story, right?
No, exactly.
That's not how it's going to work.
And that's what social media marketing from the marketing side of it. Now, the social aspect is still meeting friends.
Yeah.
It's no different than going to a local bar or club or hangout and interacting with people. It's the same concept. It's just a little less personal because you're not in actual physical presence, but it's the same concept. Now, from a marketing standpoint, it's an extension of your business. So if you're doing a bad job, it's going to show you're doing a bad job. Just like if you were a loudmouth restaurant owner and everybody knows that your business is crap and you're out town, getting all loud and excited around town, showing off or whatever, people are going to be like, that's that guy. Yeah, have you been there? Yeah, I've been there. We don't go there anymore.
No,
I mean, you're creating a buzz. Your personality is creating a buzz on a negative,
something you should be cognizant of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so you can't fix the foundation with social media. Social media will never fix a business.
Yeah.
I've seen people try, and it's just a quicker way to put yourself out of business.
You're letting more people know.
Yes,
right?
you're letting more people know you're not good. That's why I've never understood. I mean, just as a simple example, advertising on Yelp. I've seen businesses with ad campaigns on Yelp, and they've got 3 stars.
And you're like, wait a second.
And it's like, so you're spending ad dollars to put your profile at the top of a Yelp search in whatever category, burgers or whatever, and you're one of the worst rated on the page. It's kind of like, you might get some clicks because people aren't even looking at the stars. They're like, ooh, this one came up first. Okay, cool. So you come up first. Well, guess what? Those stars probably represent how you're doing. Well, guess what? Now they're going to try you. Now it's a bad experience. Now they're going to give you a 1 star, and now your ad dollars are still rolling. You might not even know it. And guess what? Now you're at a 2.5 stars, and you're still advertising your business. You need to pull your ad spend, get off social media, work on your values first, and now do social media. The only reason I'm able to do all the stuff on social that I'm doing now is because I'm confident in my foundation. I put the work in for that.
I love that point. I think it's super crucial. And what with your experience you've had so far and the success you've been able to see, I'm kind of curious when you look at a market like Raleigh-Durham, where there's so many new restaurant concepts coming up, there's a lot of food entrepreneurs in the area. And when you're advising, I know you said you interact with over thousands of restaurants.
I do.
So what advice are you giving to people when they're starting out to set them up for success?
Work.
Okay.
I tell them to work first.
Yeah.
Like,
work at a restaurant, work in what you want to do.
Yes, go do what you're gonna do. Get in there, get your operations set up. Because a lot of people come to me. Yeah. And they're like, I have people call me all the time, and they're like, Johnny, I want to do what you do on social media. Great. How long you been in the business? A year. How are you doing? We're losing money. So now you want to do what I do on social media. Meanwhile, I have successful businesses giving me the opportunity to be doing what I'm doing on social media, giving me the time and freedom to be able to do what I'm doing on social media. But you want to do what I'm doing on social media and you don't even have the basics worked out. Wrong. Don't even think about social media. Think about making the customers that are walking in your door today happy. Focus on that first, because you're not gonna make it. You're not going to.
That's a great point. Yeah.
So I've been in the foundation states, and that's why I think I was just lucky, or I don't know how it worked out. Social media and its really ability to be used at a really high level kind of came out and is really working well at the right time for me, because I kind of had all that other stuff worked out. That's why I feel like I'm 30 even though I'm 40, because I spent 30 to 40 working on that foundation before I was even focusing on this. Really. I mean, I've only been really hitting social media hard where it's a day in, day out job. I mean, it's 40 hours a week. I mean, period.
It is.
I was working 70, 80 hours a week in the restaurant at one point in my life, pretty much my 30s through 40s. It was a full-time job times 2. I was working 80 hours a week.
For sure.
Now I work 20, 25 in the restaurant, sometimes less. But I'm working 40 hours a week on social media.
Engaging.
Absolutely,
trying to
100%.
Because you kind of put yourself at that point where you're the face of the brand and like really trying to bring people in and build that personal connection with them, which I think is so cool and helps set you apart, honestly, that they're involved with you. They know the face. And you kind of hit on that before with the tire example.
Absolutely.
I think it's incredible.
Yeah.
So as you're looking into the future, what's next for you? What's next for you and Johnny's Pizza?
I think just looking at another brand, not another brand of business, another branch, another store. Yeah. So people always say, Johnny, why don't you open a burger place? Why don't you open this? Why?
Yeah.
I guess it's the trendy thing now to try different concepts.
Okay.
Where things seem easy.
Are you interested in that, or are you
No.
very?
No, I'm interested in what works, and I love what I do.
That's awesome.
So, not that I don't think it would be a challenge, and it could be something down the road. Open up a different concept. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm just not motivated to really hit that grinding wheel again because I know it'll be another 10 years.
Yeah. Okay.
I got somebody. Look at this.
Yeah.
Third time they've called me. Are you kidding me? They know I'm busy.
You're an important
This
guy.
is an old school person. This person is like 50 or 60, and they're like, if I just keep calling him, he'll answer.
It's like when you like put your parents to voicemail, they hit you back and I might need to pick up.
Yeah, exactly. I say that all the time. I'm like, I'm actually busy.
Yeah. So at Mati, our brand is all about helping people be the best version of themselves. We want you to be all of who you are. There's so many unique pieces that make us up, whether it's your day-to-day grind, your hustle on the side. And my question for you to kind of wrap up here is what is Johnny made of?
What is Johnny made of? Determination, passion. I'm a family man. Comes back to family first. I always start everything with family. Family is everything. So the base of Johnny is family.
That's incredible.
I start with that, and I branch out, and I'm determined and passionate within my life to improve my family and my families. I have restaurant families. I have friend families. I have multiple families and multiple circles of people that I consider family. And I work my butt off every day to put those people in front of myself, be their servant and friend, and be there for them. And that in turn leads to great things.
I love that.
Because then I don't need to ask everybody for help. I show them that I'm willing to receive it if they're willing to give it, and I'm able to lean back when I need to, and people will be there to help this ship sail straight. You know what I'm saying?
That's great.
And I mean, that's the key. I would never be here without the people in my life. I mean, this is not a one-man show.
You can't do it by yourself.
Too many entrepreneurs they want to take ownership of everything that's happened in their life. They don't give credit back. A lot of them will give credit back a lot of them will give credit back to their their family and stuff like that, which is huge. I mean, that is gigantic. However, business owners can't forget their staff.
Yeah, you have to.
Staff,
there's such a key element of what you're doing.
I've got guys who've been with me for 15 years.
That's amazing.
15 years they've been working for me.
Well,
and I mean, I've helped them build their home. I've watched their kids grow up. And I mean, that's an important part of Johnny's.
Yeah. I love that. I love the personal connection you have. I love the perseverance and hard work. And lastly, for everyone tuning in, where can people find you and Johnny's Pizza online? They
can find me at Johnny's Pizza NC across all platforms. You might have to search Johnny Pizza for some reason. It's searching weird on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's a LinkedIn glitch.
Yeah.
They're getting that. But just search Johnny's Pizza at Johnny's Pizza NC across all the other platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And
look for the bearded man holding a piece of pizza.
Yes, absolutely. And check out Monty at Drink Monty.
DrinkMonty.com.
I drink it. I'm glad that you guys brought me in because I love your product. I can't say that enough. I actually drink your product. And believe it or not, Monty stole my idea. I was going to tell you this. Monty actually stole my idea. I said, why isn't there a 0-calorie energy drink that doesn't have 1,000 ingredients that actually tastes good and actually packs a punch?
Here we go.
Because I've had healthy energy drinks before,
for sure,
and they've got 50 milligrams of caffeine, and I'm like, that's not going to do it.
That doesn't get it done for
so
me.
I was looking for something that compared to the other brands out there. We don't need to name their names, but everybody knows all the energy drinks out there that doesn't have all the junk that all of them have, that actually works as an energy source. Because guys like me, we need caffeine just to focus and get through our day because we're grinding.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that simple. And this is fuel for the grind.
Amen. We are the energy of entrepreneurs. Johnny said it. Johnny said it. That's incredible. Monty. Johnny, thank you so much for coming in today. I really enjoyed our conversation. I think we're going to have another one of these.
Absolutely.
And thank you so much.
Dude, anytime.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Healthy Hustle Podcast. The Healthy Hustle Podcast is created, edited, and powered by our team here at Mati Energy, and we've cooked up a special deal for you to get to try Mati for yourself. The first 10 people to go to www.drinkmati.com and use the code HUSTLE50 will get 50% off their next order. This code will work for any of our variety packs and any of our flavor packs. The only thing it will not work for is our subscribe and save products, but we hope you guys can use this deal to get your hands on Mati and to experience it for yourself. Once again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the podcast, and stay tuned for next week's.